All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash, the Buanas, the Apostles, the Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which you ought to be. And I'm Sharilla Hawaii from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who bear the shame of looking like heathens whose spirit bear witness that they are a child of Heavenly Father. And the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world inwardly calls Jehovah God. And the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christos, or Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahweh. And pretty much this lesson is going into how America is going to fall, man. You know, like it says in Revelations, it says Babylon is falling, it's falling, you know. And what you see America being in a state of, it's like the Life Alert commercials, you know. But the thing is, there's no aid, you know. Uh, 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 you had the elderly man or the elderly woman. What do? They fall down to the ground and they say, "I have fallen. I can't get up." And that's what's happening to America, man. You know, it seems all fine and dandy and whatnot, but it's not. You know, because you have you have a lot of entertainment, different concerts, all these different things to come about where within your hometown, home country, within America and whatnot and stuff, just to distract you for what's actually going on. That the GDPs, now I don't know much about that, you know what I'm saying, but the GDPs, you know, business administrations and all that and stuff, they you know, they pulling their hair out because they don't know what to do. Guess what? We got a recession that's well on its way, man. You know, and the bubble is popped. You know, so it's only a matter of time when people start seeing it. One day, you know, everything gonna be all good. You think you finna go to the grocery store and whatnot, and your eyes lit up and stuff because you seeing these prices. You know, it ain't cheap like it used to be. You know, this is Jeremiah 50:23. It says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?" It says, "How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" You know, and when you know, hammer represents power, man. You know what I'm saying? And America, what they used to call it, the Golden City, you know, the Golden State, or however they said it and stuff. You know, people they show it in the movies and TV shows. You know, even in certain cartoons and whatnot, where you have somebody in a foreign land and they be like, "I want to go to America so I could live out my dreams and stuff," and everything, and everything that you thought that you wanted and stuff. You know what I'm saying? America had those things or had the opportunity and whatnot. You know, but it's being cut asunder. Asunder goes into the Hebrew word gadai. It's the God of die and the eye. Gadai, it says to cut, hew, chop, cut down, hewn down like a tree. You know what I'm saying? A tree is you know, you know, it's being hewn down. This place, man. You know, its power is dwindling. You know, America is not self sufficient. You know, you got the I forget his name, but his name is like Grim something on YouTube. And pretty much he lives out in areas where, you know, most of the farming is done, or whatever state that he's in where it's farming done. And you can see that the yield that the you know, from like great floods and heavy rain and whatnot that the Lord prophesied in Second Ezra, the ninth chapter, that is killing a lot of crops, or that or the crops is not giving its best yield. So you got a lot of farmers where they got to harvest it early, man, and it was like patches of corn that was harvested. He even had a little, I think it's Grim Survival or something like that. There was even a zoom in vid that he had did where you saw the corn. The corn was actually rotten, you know. It was no use, and these was whole fields of corn that was just gone and dead, you know. And it wasn't even to the point where it's like the stalks was all tall, it was green, everything was just that tannish brown, that tawny color. You know what I'm saying? That tan color, like how your grass is in the winter, it'd be all or in the summer, depending on what type of grass you got, where it'd just be that dry looking color. And that's how those corn leaves was, man. You know, they had fields of soybean and stuff that was just ruined, man, drowned. Because I think it's a bad thing when you give plants too much water. You know, like the plant can drown as well, I guess. And that's what's happening to America. It's being brought low. It's being brought down. Its power is dwindling. All these other countries is like we got power. All these other countries are like we got power, and are more in a better state where they're more sufficient. That's why you got America still in oil. That's why you got you know America stealing everything and stuff, or throwing these tariffs on these countries and stuff, where it's like we're going to bully you into getting what we need and stuff. And they're coming to the point where it's like you can do all that you can. All you're going to do is find yourself in a messed up situation. Scripture says, let the weak say that I'm strong. These other countries, they're not scared of America no more. You had an atom bomb and whatnot. You was able to bomb Hiroshima down there in Vietnam. That's what all these other countries, they got bombs too. That's way better than yours. And they no longer scared. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, it says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. What is grind? When you're on your grind, it's talking about work. If it cease because they are few, then that means that it's less jobs. You got a lot of businesses that's doing layoffs where it's like really hurting their jobs, but they can't afford those employees, man. People got 401k set up and whatnot, and you're not gonna see that money. For one, you gotta see. In order for you to get the money and stuff, you gotta wait until you're 60 years old just to get it. You got to be part of a union and whatnot just so they can take certain money out and stuff just so it can go to your 401k. You actually building your $401,000, within your work. But if you don't stay there for 60 years and stuff, you're not going to get it. And how these companies do, they always do some type of regulating. That's why you got a lot of jobs out here. They got rotating shifts, because they can't afford it. These businesses can't afford it, And a part of that, they do a lot of their businesses outside the country and stuff because their taxes are lower. America's taxes requirements and stuff is too high. Where the businesses can't really give, or have openings and stuff like that. Because what's the point of having a business? You know what I'm saying? And not only can you not pay your workers, and give them and afford their benefits and whatnot, you're not making no revenue, and that was the whole point of making a business. It says, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. It says, verse 4, it says, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. You see a lot of these stores, what are they on? 75%, 90%, everything must go. Liquidation and stuff, all these different sales. People think they in good case, but really they not. Because hey, if you got company, you got Sears. Sears is gone. You got Payless. It was supposed to be a store where they sold less shoes. I mean shoes for less, and then any other store, than Foot Locker, then DSW, designer shoe wear. And guess what? Payless is gone. It was a store that you got shoes for less, man. It's gone. It's not there no more. Sears is not there no more. Toys R Us is not there no more. All that is done. And guess what that means? That means that it wasn't just one Toys R Us within the United States. It was many Toys R Us all throughout the United States. And if their whole franchise is gone, then you looking at a lot of jobs being gone, man. It says It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that brought low is going into how the music pretty much ain't worth anything. It's the same thing over and over. Any new rapper that come out, he's talking about killing you, committing adultery, having sex with your wife, you know what I'm saying? Or that the woman's a thought that she going around doing this and doing that. You got women rappers nowadays and stuff, and what do? They talk about how they bouncing from one rod to another. You know what I'm saying? How they taking this money and how empowerment of the woman and all that stuff. They talk about cars, clothes, and the hoes. The drugs and stuff. That's all it is, man. You know, it's that's all it is. It's no originality no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just this is what the people in. So this is what I'm gonna sing about. Pills and all that, flats and mollies, Xanax and all that stuff, man. You know, you know. Uh, this is Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate." Fish gate mean fishermen. Which is actually big money. And it says, "And a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." Because just going back to the Grim Survival, you know what I'm saying, how you had on YouTube, he got his own page. Uh, you got all these places when it come down to farming and whatnot. There's when it come down to business, you had certain things like, say, if you was a deliverer or whatnot, and you owned a certain business or you worked for a certain business, and it was an act of God. It's a lot of acts of Yahweh Shem Yahshai that's taking place, and it's called prophecy. For famine meaning a shortage of food, very scarcely shortage of food. You know what I'm saying? Until there's no food at all. It's happening where these big containers and stuff, there happen to be like an accident and whatnot, and the food just spill out onto the ground, it's contaminated, and they can't ship it out. So now they got to start over. You got grains and stuff that's just brought to waste. You know, you had fields that won't grow to their yields, so grow to the yield that's required. You know what I'm saying, for these companies to I mean that's required for the farmers to have to beat the status quo, just so they could put food in the grocery stores. You know, uh, 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 verse 11, it says, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all that bear silver are cut off." And because they can't make no money. They can't make any money, man. And part of that, it's not just with the farmers. I'm gonna get into this etymology of this word. Etymon meaning origin, and ology meaning study of. So study of the origin. So this is the word automation. It says 1948. It says, in a manufacturing sense, coined by Ford Motor Coal Company, Vice President Delmer S. Harder for automatic. And then Sean, it says early 1838 was automatism. It says which meant quality of being automatic in the classic sense. Now you go into the word automatic. It says self-acting, moving or acting on its own. It says acting as one's will, of things self-moving, self-acting, used of the gates of Olympus and the tripods of Hephaestus. It says without apparent cause, by accident. It says self-thinking, animated, to think. So automation, right? To move on its own. Robots, like the movie I, Robot, how the robots was pretty much doing all the house chores and the cleaning and doing this and doing that and stuff. And they had it where the robots worked amongst the humans in the same fields, but the robots was more valuable. Why? Because you don't have to pay a robot benefits. You don't have to worry about days off. You know, insurance policies. You don't have to worry about discounts, company discounts. You don't have to worry about 401ks. You know what I'm saying? When it come down to the robots. Because it's a mindless drone. It's automatic. It's you just program it to do this, that, and the third, and then next it's gonna do it. And they already have that. They have it when it come down to you construction workers. Even people that's in the food ministry. You know, also for people that do deliveries and whatnot. You have which is part of the fall of Babylon. You gonna have you got you got a machine where it goes layer by layer. You know what I'm saying? First, you put in the blueprint of what it needs to build, and within its diameter, it's going to build that. And it doesn't have to take any breaks. There ain't no lunch break like you see the construction workers and stuff. They work for a certain period of time and stuff, and you see them lined up somewhere eating their sandwiches and drinking their coffee. No, this machine is going to keep going. And what they do is that layer by layer, it builds up the wall. Like, say, if you needed to make a tower or like a wall, a drywall and whatnot, what it does is that it takes the cement and it just goes layer by layer by layer and by layer until the whole thing is filled. And they also got that when it come down to the food ministry, food ministry, whatever, the food jobs, cooking jobs and chefs and whatnot. They have a machine. They got this thing called printing, food printing. You know what I'm saying? Where they it's the whatever the substance is. If it's meat is what they use. They use meat, beef, and it was like in this tube. Like when you make a cake and whatnot and stuff, and you putting the little designs on the edges and stuff, or writing down on it and stuff, like somebody who a baker would actually do. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that's within culinary arts and they was able to like, put the designs on top of the cake and whatnot. It's like that and it's in a tube, but it's meat. And what they do is that they do the same thing when it comes down to the construction. They layered it layer by layer, the meat. So it'll probably put like 2 or 3 layers for a burger and stuff, and you cook it and it tastes like real beef, and uh, and pretty much showing that when it comes down to this automation, that they're going to replace you cooks, you chefs. You know what I'm saying? It's also going to replace waiters and cashiers. Why? When you go to McDonald's, guess what? They already have robots, those machines where you can electronically make your order. You know what I'm saying? Everything is becoming digital, the cashless society and stuff, and you just pay and go. Like I think it was Amazon Go, where they had a store where you was able to just walk in and they monitor you by camera and stuff and see where you pick up this and that. And if you had the app, they was able to see what you wanted, wanted and didn't want it and stuff, and it kept accurate track of you. You know what I'm saying? And you was able just to walk in and walk out. The convenience. A part of that convenience is that people are no longer needed. Because when you have benefits, 401k, union plans, insurance plans, and whatnot, and discounts from the company, those 5 things that they got to take out when it comes down to their own money or the revenue they're trying to build. If you just erase all the people, and replace it with robots, then guess what? Those are 5 different parts of extra revenue that can be going into the business owner's pocket. You know, you know. You know, they building cars with self-driving and whatnot. So everybody that does like Uber Eats and GoPuff and DoorDash and Caviar and Grubhub, you know what I'm saying? When they come out with that, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna put a lot of people who that do delivery jobs, with the pot bellies, Domino's, Pizza Hut, and all that. And Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut didn't close, but all these other countries where they have, all these other restaurants that have their own delivery service, within their company and stuff, that's finna be taken away as well, So you finna find a mass scale of joblessness, man. because we are in a recession, even though it's being covered up with the different entertainment that America keeps bringing and stuff. But that's because America doesn't want civil unrest. But civil unrest is going to happen anyways because of the way that they're doing things. This is James chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." You know, uh, 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 these Edomites, they live in these high rises and whatnot, but they stand at late nights wondering what they need to cut off and stuff just so they can stay in those luxurious places, man. Because hey, guess what? Edomites don't want to live in the hood. They don't want to downgrade. A lot of them will commit suicide if they find themselves having to live in the hood. Especially amongst Jake. And they're falling. Verse 2, it says, "Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth eaten." It says, "Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days." And this is gonna go into hyperinflation, because for one, America is not self-sufficient as they try to make themselves to be. The different states that's known for farmland and whatnot, the yields are not growing up. You got corn that's rotting. You got soybeans that's being over flooded and whatnot, and it's too much water for the plant to soak up, so it's just dying. It's just dead. You have certain requirements that need to be met when it come down to farmers, and they can't meet them. So that means less food. Now, the brother Mariala, he made a good point. He was saying that in the grocery stores, it still seems like that it's all filled and whatnot, but really the shelves are getting smaller. You know what I'm saying? The shelves are getting smaller just so it can look like it's still filled and plenishable and stuff, when really it's not. Even when it come down to the meat, you got a lot of cows that's dying. You got chickens that's being raised in a malnutritious way and whatnot. They got to pump it with antibiotics and stuff. You see you had this one doing World Star Hip Hop, and he over here cleaned this chicken, and the chicken was swole, like it was bench pressing like a good 15 pounds. Because chickens are feeble, so bench pressing 15 pounds. The legs was muscular, the thighs was muscular. They was just huge. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't natural. They inject the chickens with water and stuff so they can come out juicy and stuff. You got chicken that got different texture, because if you go to Panda Express, sometimes you wonder if that's real chicken. You got a funny taste to it and stuff. It's just all soft. Even when it come down to McDonald's McNuggets, man, you know what I'm saying? We just found out that it ain't real chicken. It's just a bunch of mesh put together and stuff. And something that's made is like the original form of it is pink, like pink, like Play-Doh pink, and then it comes out looking like chicken at the end of the process. And even when they commercials, when they pull it apart to make it seem like it's just so mouth-watering and whatnot, it doesn't peel apart like chicken. Like if you took chicken breast and stuff and peeled it apart, it doesn't. And if you notice, chicken has 3 different types of textures. You got that chicken where it's just dry. You can get the chicken where it's wet. And then you got that chicken it's all soft and chewy. You chewing it and stuff, and almost it almost feel like you smacking on a bag of Pop Rocks or something, man. The candy. And that's how you know that the meat ain't real. You got chickens standing on roosters standing on their hind legs, with their chest out, literally, and they walking around with their wings to the side like they soldiers or something, man. You got a chicken that was as small as a full grown greyhound or poodle, man. You know, just walking around, big, gigantic chicken. You know, and that's how you know there's experimentation going on and stuff, because if the regular grains and vegetables and whatnot, and those are the things that people want, that they meet to be fed by and stuff. If those are not hitting its yield points and whatnot, then that means that you're looking at lesser uh, 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 lesser size of chickens, man, which causes them to put the antibiotics so they can look appealing, so you can want it. You know, you know, and with them having to do more just so they can provide more, it's gonna cost more. You know, another thing about the gold and silver is canker, hyperinflation down in Venezuela, which are the tribe of Zebulon, which are Israelites. You know, um, including people of Peru, people from Panama, people from Ecuador, people from El Salvador, um, people from Guatemala. You know, I uh, down in Venezuela, hyperinflation hit hard. Where you had, for one, it was an article where people was literally throwing their money out into the streets, and what they threw their money out in the streets because it had no value. You know, they couldn't buy anything with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, let somebody nowadays, you see a couple of hundreds out in the street and stuff, they gonna go running after it. They don't care if traffic coming or nothing. You know, you'll be surprised somebody in their car see a pile of money in the street and stuff. They gonna make sure they slow down so they can grab whatever they can and haul ass. You know, but the Venezuelans, they wasn't doing that because they couldn't buy nothing. Down in Venezuela, they have meat markets where they sell rotten meat. You got the people that sell the rotten meat, which is like family owned businesses and stuff. They go to the garbage dump just to find little scraps of meat, just so they can bring back home and try to make it a soup and stuff, and make a soup for their children, because they can't afford it. You know, you know that all the regular food that's in good case, so called, costs too much for them to be able to feed their families. You know, you got people, you got parents that's not feeding themselves and stuff just so they can feed their children. You had lines that lasted like miles down the way, you know, and people just, it seemed like they ain't even going nowhere. People getting antsy. They out there in the hot sun and stuff, trying to stay cool, trying to stay patient, trying to stay non-violent as possible and whatnot while they get their food. You know, it's like rations. You know what I'm saying? You know, they show you that in the video game The Last of Us. You know how people had to have rations just only to get food, being your city being militarized and whatnot, and gates being placed everywhere and tall walls so people can't escape, trying to maintain order. You know, and this is going to be one of the reasons why chaos break loose, because nobody can do within the same system that they've been using for so long, that they can't do the things that they used to, or they really cutting off a lot of things just so they could make ends meet. You know, you know. And when it came down to those merchants down there in Venezuela and stuff, those was family businesses. Now you got to look at it this way: all these other businesses, whether it's restaurants or whatever, and it's family owned and stuff, you're gonna look at those businesses actually being trodden down and going into bankruptcy, because you got places like Walmart and Target and these supermarket places and whatnot. What's happening? You can get food and appliances at this place. So instead of just going to a hardware store that sold regular hardware, instead of going to a place where it sells utensils, where they, or a place that just sell food, or a place that sell towels and stuff, mattresses and whatnot. You're able to find all those things at this one store. So it's just causing all these little businesses to go out of business and file bankruptcy, you know. And then now you have Amazon, where Amazon is putting out of business Walmart and Targets, man. You know, and you can buy everything online. You know, you can buy everything online and stuff, and the monetary system is actually failing, man. You know, you know. Imagine, because this is what happened in Venezuela when they was in the long lines. People was grabbing wheelbarrows full of money, like how Whole Foods they charge you by the weight depending on certain things that you buy. Like say if you grab like a handful of oranges or bell peppers and stuff, and you put it in a little bag, they actually charge you by weight. You know that little scale that they have that's over the little scanner. They charge you by weight, and uh, 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 and that's how it was when it came down to money in Venezuela. You had this family, just they had a wheelbarrow full of money and stuff, hoping that it was heavy enough to show that they had enough in order to be able to get just a little bit, you know. And when it come down to Whole Foods, you could buy like four things, four, five, six things. You know what I'm saying? That you need and whatnot, and be spending like $120. Yeah, they slapped they because organic is pretty much like a trademark or a title. They slap it on there even though it's still fake food. Cause I remember a while back when I went to Whole Foods and I had and it was like a couple of years though. You know, when I went to Whole Foods, they you had the same product, but you had one that said organic and real organic, and it just showed you that that it was just a title, you know, because how you gonna? I thought organic mean that it was real, but then you have the same product and you say real organic, like it's more organic than the one that says organic. So it shows that they just making fake food. A lot of this food is plastic, you know. A lot of the meat that you eat is human meat, man. McDonald's is a multi-billion franchise and stuff, but it ain't enough cows. Especially if the cows, you wake up one day and they all dead, leaning on to the side like somebody pushed them over. You know, a lot of cows and a lot of food. You know what I'm saying? A lot of animals and stuff are just dying. You know, and it's part of the prophecy that this will happen because it brings forth the famine. You know, you know. And marketing and stuff, you know, they can't keep it up, man. You know, you got banks that's merging with one another, and when you see a bank merge, that means that another bank has the possibility of going bankrupt, man, or being out of business. Guess what? It's jobs there too. You know, for the guys that drive the truck and the Brinks truck and whatnot, and they bring the new cash in into the bank. You know, guess what? If you got a bank that's shutting down and stuff, then guess what? Their job is gone. Their security job is gone. You know, driving is gone. You know, or say if they keep the bank open and stuff, but replace it by all machines. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing you know, once they get them self-moving cars in and stuff, ain't no reason, you know, and replace with robots and whatnot, and you got robots hauling in the cash, you know, or hauling in the electronic debts or whatever, you know. So hey man, it's finna be real bad out here, man. You know, every single job that can be orchestrated when it comes every single job when it can be orchestrated by uh uh shit. Let me see. Every single job that can be orchestrated by a person and stuff can be replaced by a machine, you know, and that's what's coming. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. It says the thing that have been it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Now this is proving reincarnation. It says, verse 10, it says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us, you know? And look at the monetary system. The monetary system is the same as ancient Rome. And ancient Rome it fell down economically like right now, man. You know? You know? And it's the same monetary system from back then. You know why? Because it was the same people from back then that was ruling within the time of ancient Rome. You know, the pagan Roman Empire. You know, who came back with the same ideas, thinking that it was something great, man. You know, when really it wasn't. You know, this is this is Second Esdras in Apocrypha chapter 15. I'm starting at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." It says, "And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another." You know, sedition meaning rebellion, man. You know, coming up against your princes and whatnot, coming against your presidents. You know, civil unrest. Why? Because people are losing their jobs. People like, you know, you got the teachers union down here in Chicago. You know, they protest and whatnot, and when protesters don't get their way and stuff, eventually down the line, they come up against come against their mayors and come against the police, and you know, and that's why you seeing, like the other day, I saw a police officer that was completely militarized. He wasn't from the army, but he had military stuff as if he should have had an army uniform on. You know why? Because they're preparing these police officers. They already know they preparing for civil unrest. You know, they already got their tear gas. You know, they riot shields and ready. You know, you got China, you got Japan, you got all these other countries and stuff. You had the Yellow Jacket movement. You know, and now you got people that's just out there riding. You got women out in the midst of a riot, you know, twerking, trying to, you know, in the midst of a riot, you know, where anything goes, you know, lawlessness, it's all coming to this place, man. You know, it's going to be mass death that's going to be here, you know, and part of that mass death is the military using their weaponry to take people down that come up against them, you know. And amongst that, people are going to be fighting against one another. Back in verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another." It says, "They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Down there in Las Margaritas, what did they do? They took their mayor and they tied him up to a truck. You know what I'm saying? A pickup truck. You know what I'm saying? With a rope, and had him just laying there, and they drove off, dragging him like a little rag doll and stuff, man. You know, and it just shows that they didn't care. You know why? It's usually a mayor. I don't know what a mayor all does and stuff, but I know it tends to the city and its needs. So the needs weren't met, and the people gonna be patient for only so much. You know, you could take the entertainment from people. You know what I'm saying? You could take almost anything away from people and stuff, but when you take their eligibility to be able to get food, you know what I'm saying? You know, guess what? That's when it's gonna be a problem. You know, it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, meaning that a lot of you got the people looking for the impeachment when it comes down to Donald Trump. You know, here it is. You had Edomites that was thirsty. They was putting Nazis. They was just so proud. They was putting Nazis on churches and stuff. You know. You got the whole situation with the racism that's going down with Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff. Hey, all that stuff is still there. But you got the same Edomites, you know what I'm saying, that's on that racist stuff and this perpetual hatred that never ceased in the first place, that never went nowhere, even though it got covered and masked up, but it was still there. The thing is that you these same people, these Nazi lovers and whatnot, and make America great again. These are the same people that want Donald Trump impeached because he's tearing up the relationships with every other country, man. You know, where they don't want to do business with him. You know, and once again, America is not self-sufficient. You know, you know, Fruits and vegetables are not coming to the protocols that is needed, so you can so things can be smooth. So America be great again. It's not coming there, man. It says it says in the course of their power, the course of their action shall stand in their power. So they going so whatever people have, man. Knives, guns. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's some smart people out here. It's some people out here. They know how to hack this, that, and the third. You had the one lady. She just looked like a regular scrub. But what did she do? She hacked Capital One and took everybody's information. Didn't even work there. Had no access. But yeah, she was able to take everybody's information, man. Meaning that she was she was able to have a shitload of money if she knew how to use it, or if she didn't get caught. You know, it says verse 17. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. They gonna have these blockades, man. Because what you're gonna see is that whatever state that you live in and stuff, if you're not going through it right now, that your state is finna become a militarized state, man, with tanks and Humvees and cars with guns, and you got the UN trucks and whatnot that's hidden in certain facilities and stuff that they ready to use, man. On these people, and a lot of people that want to protest and whatnot. You Negroes, Latinos, and Natives, you Israelites. How the way you look. Hey, Esau, these people that's within a situation where they able to carry guns and whatnot. Hey, they showing it on camera. You got Edomites calling the police on people doing the barbecues, man. You got Edomites trying to stop people from coming into their own houses, saying that they don't live there. That's that hatred, man. So if they within the police stations, if they police officers, they army men and whatnot, they guess what? They gonna unleash their wrath upon Jake. And you wanna hug up and love these people and whatnot when they clearly show you that they ain't trying to do that. Verse 18, it says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled." And you think everything's finna come across, like the last recession, people stealing when it come down to Black Friday, they stealing this and stealing that and stuff, and thinking everything gonna be good for all the stuff that they stole when the system comes back, but it's not gonna come back. You had DHS, Department of Human Services, they didn't put it on your regular news channels, your WGNs, you know what I'm saying, your NBCs, your ABCs. They put it on BBC and RT News and whatnot. Certain news channels people don't have. They put it on and even not only that, but they also had like certain articles and stuff, and people don't really do research like that if they had their everyday business, going to work, coming back to their kids, picking up their kids from daycare and stuff, making sure they have some food, the wife cooking and stuff, so everything can be all good. So you putting your kids to sleep and stuff, putting your children to send them off to sleep and stuff, reading a bedtime story and stuff, and having their homework done so you could do the whole thing the next day. Hey, what you don't know is that DHS has said that people need to prepare themselves for a 6 month blackout. You know what I'm saying? Meaning it ain't gonna be no electricity, and for like the scripture says, the spiritual wind judgeth all things, but it's just no man. For lately, I've been seeing a lot of them green trucks, and it would say EMP on there, and EMP is I don't know what company it is, but EMP for the blackout, the 6 month blackout that DHS is informing people in secret, and not to all the general public. What's going on is that EMP is electric magnetic pulse, which kills anything electronic within its circumference, so diameter, whichever one, radius, and it's like a silent bomb, and a lot of things that people survive off of is electronic, which is gonna cause civil unrest. A person that don't have a phone and stuff, they'll be ready to kill. You know, you got a deep freezer or you got a refrigerator. You just bought all this new food and whatnot, and you think it's finna last for a day and stuff. I mean, last forever and stuff. And now, guess what? All that is on. It's finna speed up its expiration dates. You know, because you can't keep it cold. You know, water, milk. You know what I'm saying? All that's finna skyrocket because hyperinflation is finna come. You know, and people are, it says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled. Yeah, these people gonna be troubled and stuff because they ain't gonna know what to do, you know, and they're gonna be seeking out for answers and stuff. And if their governments can't seek out the answers, then people are gonna start coming with violence. You know, it's gonna agitate the people and whatnot, and the people are gonna come up against their kings and priests, like it said in the previous scripture. It says, "Their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." It's, you know, because somebody can't feed their families, they're gonna try to borrow, you know. But then it's gonna come to a point where that person ain't gonna be able to borrow because the one that they've been borrowing from only has a little bit now because they've been lending out. So then when that happens, people are gonna be like, man, no, you on that bullshit and stuff. Go grab their piece and whatnot, come knock on the door like they friendly, and then holding their own mans up, or the person that they actually been borrowing from at gunpoint and stuff, sitting up here trying to take everything. Then you're gonna see their true colors. You're gonna see that a old boy that was cool with the family and stuff, he always had this thought about smashing your wife. Now he got the gun in your face, or shoot you down and stuff, or shoot you where you're paralyzed and whatnot on the ground leaking and stuff. You bleed now, and he over here having sex with your wife or having sex with your daughter. You know, army man coming in because they got like a little regimen that they have within there, and the things that they allowed to do, you know what I'm saying, within a regimen where they can come in and take all your food, man. And then it's a movie called Goodbye World, you know, and if you watch that, it has that in there, you know. All right, just to hurry up, this verse 19, it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." There you go. We are going to be stealing. The movie Detroit, you know, you had the military out in the street and whatnot trying to keep civil unrest at bay, you know, and people are going to be robbing these stores. You know, a lot of you family stores, people going to be downstairs with the double barrel and whatnot trying to protect their goods, man. And they even show you that in the movie Bushwick, you know. And it's a reason why they put it in a theater where a lot of people weren't going to get to and stuff, because a lot of people would have woke up to the truth and it would have made sense, you know. But it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods." And the word spoil means to rob. People robbing already and stuff, you know, cracking cars, doing all these different things and stuff, trying to use people's information and whatnot just so they can get what they want to their own needs. It says, because of the lack of bread. Lack of bread means lack of food, you know. It says, and for great tribulation. It's going to be great disturbance upon this place, man. You know, people going to be looking over their shoulder and wondering who they can trust, you know. And usually the one that they do tend to trust and stuff be the one that actually betray you. You know what I'm saying? You know, people you've been shoring down and smoking a cigarette you with, and you know, you've been in rotation when it come down to the blunt and stuff. You know, y'all was training girls. You know, y'all was this, that, and the third. A lot of that's finna cease, man. You know, a lot of that's finna cease. You know, and I hope this video was edifying. I like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakodash, double honors to apostles, great millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we ought to be. Shalom and a Bob of all.